Hello.
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 How is everyone this evening? Oops.
It's good evening.
Hello. Oh, there's a few more people joining. Okay, so today we are doing note-taking annotated bibliographies. So today we're going to look at annotated bibliographies. So the objective for today is that participants will be able to identify the parts of an annotated bibliography and create an annotated bibliography entry. So some community guidelines. I think most of you have probably heard these before, but obviously we are happy you are here. If you are late or have technical issues, please join the conversation as you are able to. So if you need to leave and come back, that is okay, and just kind of join in as you are able to. Mute yourself when you are not talking, but please remember to unmute yourself when you do want to talk. We want to be able to hear everyone. Please complete the pre-session interactive slides. So those are in the Google Classroom, they're on the Facebook, and they're emailed out, and the post-session feedback form. This will help us revise and develop course content. If you have questions or technical issues during the session, please send a message in the chat box indicating so, or email us at info@hettgroup.com. So we have changed the email address that we are using. We are now using info, I-N-F-O, at HETT, H-E-T-T, group.com. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm going to be kind of facilitating this class or training. Previously, I have worked as an English language instructor. I have worked as an environmental education facilitator and coordinator, and I have worked as a teacher trainer in Myanmar. So I have previously been in Myanmar, as you can see from the photo I have here. Kathleen is the one who creates all the PowerPoints, and she will be co-hosting. Kathleen, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, my name is Kathleen Greiby. I have experience teaching English, Spanish, and doing some teacher training in Mexico. And currently I'm working as a Spanish and English teacher in the US.
Great, awesome. Okay, how well do you understand annotated bibliographies? So show of fingers, not at all, a little bit more, somewhat, quite well, extremely well. So how well do you understand? So please show your video on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So how well do you understand annotated bibliographies? So show of fingers for this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it seems like not a huge amount. So we'll talk about it a bit today. Okay, so have you written an annotated bibliography before? So can everyone go to the participants section, and there's a yes button or a no button. So can you hit the yes button or the no button? So I see one yes. So there's yes or no. I see 2 yeses, 4 no's. So annotated bibliography. Okay, so I have 5 or 6 no's. I think people turned it off now, some people, but I was getting 5 or 6 no's and only just a few yeses. So it sounds like most of you have not written an annotated bibliography. So that's good to know. From my experience, that's kind of what I noticed. A lot of people had not written an annotated bibliography before. Good. If you have written an annotated bibliography before, what was your experience like? So what did you write it for? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Why did you write it? Maybe type in the chat box, or you can tell me.
Yeah, it is difficult.
And why, or what was difficult about it?
Uh,
What was it for, or why were you writing it?
so to create new idea by studying the previous research. But sometimes I'm very lazy, so I just highlighted and write some comments on the paper only.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's first look at this before we get into an annotated bibliography. Oh, someone just wrote. Yes, it is like a summary to include the reference paper and have difficulties. Yeah, so it is kind of like a summary. And the complexity of them can vary as well, exactly what information you include. Okay, easy question. What is this? You can either tell me on the chat box or you can just tell me. So what is it? What is this an example of? References? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, so this is kind of the references. So it could be your list of references. So references is kind of this when like the exact ones that you use in your research. Your bibliography is written the same, but it is all the articles that you read and look at, even if you don't directly use them in your research. So you have your reference list and you have your bibliography list. So reference list is what you directly use. Bibliography is everything that you look at, even if you don't like quote it or use it directly, but you still read it, so you're still thinking about it. So yeah, this is either a reference list or a bibliography. So bibliographies, they give credit to the original author. They list citations, so this includes the author's name, the title, the publisher, the date. We're not going to get into it now, but obviously there's different ways to write the citation. There's APA, MLA, IEE. I think some of the universities have their own version. So there's different ways to write a citation. So included at the end of all research papers, and it's because so that readers can verify your work. So that they can go to the end and look and verify, like, this is where you got your information from. And we'll talk more about bibliographies in our references, citations, and bibliographies in the future. We're not going to focus too much on that part yet. Okay, So what is this then? What is this an example of? So you have kind of the top, which is the citation. You have some information underneath. So Davidson's book provides a thorough examination of the major roles filled by the numerous pagan goddesses of Northern Europe in everyday life, including their role in hunting, agriculture, domestic arts like weaving, the household, and death. The author discusses relevant archaeological evidence, pattern of symbol and ritual, and previous research. The book includes a number of black and white photographs of relevant artifacts. So what is this an example of?
This is summary.
Yeah, so it's a summary. So I would say it's more than a summary, but yeah, this is the example of an annotated bibliography entry for one research paper. So this is just obviously one entry for one paper. So you have the citation at the top, and then you kind of have a summary, and we'll get more into that later, exactly what it includes. But it's for one research paper or one book or one article that you are reading, that you are doing research on. So an annotated bibliography is a list of sources with additional information about the source. So it can be descriptive and informative, analytical, and critical. So there are different ways you can do it, but we're going to look specifically at kind of one way. I'll show you an example of one that I have done. Can you see mine? I know sometimes Zoom doesn't like it if you, here, I might stop sharing.
You have to switch what you're sharing.
Yeah, I'll switch right now. Okay, so this is an example of one, a very small one, and it's not perfect. It was like for a rough draft. I didn't have to do a full one, but it was for a rough draft of an essay I was writing. So if you look here, you have the citation, and then you have the information. And then down here, again, you have the citation and then the information about it, about the article. Again, citation, information. So it's not an introduction. This is what an annotated bibliography is, and we'll get more into the different sections in a second. So you have your citation, then you have kind of about it, kind of the description. Okay, so we'll go back. Okay, so why should you write an annotated bibliography? Does anyone know why you write one? I kind of gave a hint about why I had written mine. Why do you write it?
So we need previous data to create or to do a new research.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the biggest thing is, oh, there's a chat. Let me just check. Create a literature review. Yes, definitely. So mine, I was using it to create an essay. So I had to do an analytical essay. So I had to come up with all my information as a literature review before I did my analytical essay. And that I actually use that essay as my basis for my literature review, which is how it was created. But yeah, it creates the foundation of your literature review. You're analyzing your different sources, your different citations, your different articles, and you're analyzing them So then it's easier to create your literature review for your research paper. It also shows your reader you have done your research and can be trusted. You've analyzed that source, you can summarize it, you can discuss about it, and say like for me, when I did mine, I did it as part of my degrees. So I'm showing my teacher, I have to submit to my teacher my annotated bibliography before I go ahead with my analytical essay or before I go ahead with my literature review. So that they know that I've actually read the articles and I understand the articles and I can analyze the articles that I read that I will be using for my literature review. So I'm not just copy pasting from my literature review. I've made my own opinions and views, and I've looked and analyzed the article. Also relates your research to a larger body of work. So the example I showed you, I had to write, and we'll get into it, but yeah, like I was directly writing how it was relevant for the research I was doing. How does my research that I'm doing fit in with these other articles, these other sources that I am reading? So if it also forces you to kind of think critically and to, oh, there's some, I'm gonna mute, sorry. It sounds like there's a bit of background noise. Forces you to study your sources deeply, carefully, and critically, because you're having to analyze your sources. You can't just copy and paste. So you have to think about them. It also helps you think of what should be included in your paper, in your literature review, and it helps create your thesis. So if you have all of it summarized, it can help you also like find the gaps in research sometimes if you have it all organized. So there's a paper on this, there's a paper on this, there's a paper on this, but this is a gap. Something is missing. Okay, so does anyone kind of know the structure? Like again, there are different ways, but kind of the general structure of an annotated bibliography. What should be included in an annotated bibliography? So is it only a summary? What else is part of it? I kind of have used some of the words that are part of it.
Not only summary, it includes summary, and also we need to find the strengths and weakness of the document.
Definitely, yeah, look at the strengths and weaknesses. Good. Anything else? Oh, here's someone commented. Overview of the article? Yeah, so definitely the overview I would say is like the summary. Strengths and weaknesses. Anything else? So we've kind of broken it down. Oh, actually, sorry, this is the next one. I'll come back to that one then. Sorry. So we've kind of broken it down into 3 parts. So the summary, which is where you summarize what the article is about. The analysis, and we'll get more into this. Analysis is kind of like what's good or bad about it. And then the reflection is more like, how does it relate to your own work? And I'll go back now to this. So kind of, and how you write it is you make sure you read many articles about your topic. You then have the citation or the reference, like the reference citation at the top. Yeah, criticizing something good. So, and then in 100 to 200 words, you summarize, analyze, and reflect on each source. And then you can organize it, the annotated bibliography, chronologically or alphabetically just because I know some of you, like you're not native English speakers, what does chronologically mean? You can put it in the chat box. What does chronologically mean? Because I know that's kind of a difficult word, so I'm just checking. What does it mean? This word here. Time order, yes, excellent. So it means that you organize it by the date of the article. So you can organize it by the date of the article or alphabetical. So by like A, B, C, D. Okay, so just to kind of review, we've talked about a little bit, but what is a summary? Can anyone tell me? You can put it in the chat box or you can tell me. In general, what is a summary?
Article review.
Yes. Yeah, overview of the article. So in like 1 or 2 sentences, what is, briefly describe the main facts. Good, excellent, excellent. So yeah, in a brief statement. So yeah, in like 1 or 2 sentences, explain about it. Yeah, the main idea, including main points. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So overview of the source, topics and main ideas, descriptive, informative. So yeah, like I said, it's normally just 1 or 2 sentences. It's not very long. Just brief description of the main ideas, overview of the source. Okay, what is an assessment for this? We're not talking like a test, but what could you be kind of looking at or assessing as part of this? So you can put it in the chat box or tell me. Okay. Test something? Yeah, so that's more a test, but this is evaluate the topic. Good. I would say evaluate the topic is a good way of putting it. Anyone else want to add to that?
Find strengths and weakness.
Yes, find the strengths and weaknesses. Good. Yeah. So yeah, so what is the purpose of the text? Good, yeah, determine the good points. Good. Describe the strengths and weaknesses of the topic. Yeah. So yeah, so purpose of the text, intended audience of the text, who is it for? Critique the text. So yeah, like that's kind of what's good, what's bad. Strengths, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the biases? Like how is their view a certain way? Why do they have that bias? Think about the biases that they have. Yeah. And reflection. What could reflection mean here? So what does it mean to kind of reflect? So how could that relate to an annotated bibliography? Review, good. What else? Relate the text to your own research. Yeah, sorry.
Thinking if I were a researcher, what would I do?
Good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, relates the text to your own research. Say if the source supports your own research. I mean, it should be if you're looking at it and analyzing it for your research. say if the source offers a different perspective. So you have those three parts. So you have the summary, the assessment, and the reflection. So those are kind of the three parts that you have as part of an annotated bibliography like entry. Okay, you will see part of an annotated bibliography on your screen. So it'll either be the summary, the assessment, or the reflection part. And I will give you 1 minute to decide which part you think it is. This is a little bit difficult. Okay. So though Luca's work is grounded in early astronomical theories, it fails to take more recent research into account. So is this summary? Is this a summary? Is this an assessment? Or is this a reflection? So think about the word fails. What are they doing there? They're saying, oh, it fails.
No, I think no literature review.
No. So yeah, which part of an annotated? So I'll stop there. So the majority said an assessment, and I would agree with this. So if you go back to assessment, so it critiques the text and it kind of says its weaknesses. It's like it fails. That's kind of a weakness. It's not very good. It fails to take more recent research into account. So that's a weakness it has. It doesn't look at recent research. Yeah, so a failure is kind of, yeah, like a weakness. Okay, let's look at this one. McGuire's research on pre-adolescent, I can't even say it, behavior shows that children between the ages of 9 and 11 are becoming even more susceptible to the influence of social media. And just in case anyone doesn't know, pre-adolescence, like it's pretty much is saying like children. And susceptible means that they're influenced by, well, like it kind of just adds that they're able to be influenced by social media. Okay. So is this an example of a summary, an assessment, or a reflection? So I'll give you 1 minute to answer. Okay, so we'll stop there. Okay, so the majority got it correct. This is a summary. It is just factual. What does it say? What is the main idea of the article? In a very short form. So it shows blah, blah, blah. This is exactly what it shows. This is what was found in the results in the discussion section. You know, like these are the results of the research. So it is just a summary. Okay, last one. Several chapters of this text could serve as a theoretical foundation for action research. The exercises can also be used to test students' initial level of competence. Okay. So is this an example of a summary, an assessment, or a reflection? Should be easier since I'm not doing a trick one where I only have one for each. Okay, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. So the majority got it correct. It is the reflection. So if you see, several chapters of this text could be served, as in used, as a theoretical foundation for action research. They can also be used to test students' initial level of competence. So if we go back to reflection, so relates the text to your own research. Like, how can you use this article? How is it useful to your own research? How could it possibly be used in research? And how can it support it? So it can support action research. Okay, we're gonna do an example together, and then I'll have you individually do an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this out, and then I'm going to circle the different sections, or I might have people, you guys can maybe circle them. So at the top, you have the citation, GRU K, 2020, October 14th, Teaching English to Adults, HETT, retrieved from www.hettgroup.com. This study finds that adult language learners are more motivated and engaged than adolescent learners. However, the author fails to take into account that living in the target language environment is also more motivating than studying a language spoken in another country. It provides excellent ideas for engaging activities which can be used to spark further studies on student motivation. Okay, so if you want to use the Annotate tool on Zoom, and I'm okay if everyone kind of does it for now, can you circle the summary? Where is the summary? Can you circle the summary of this? So where is the summary? I think I have it so everyone can annotate. Okay, so just the summary. You might have to make it smaller. So remember, there's 3 parts. So which part is the summary? Anyone? If not, I can do it as well to kind of start it. Good, excellent. There we go. Have some people doing it now. Good. So yeah, the first sentence is the summary. This one's a bit easy because it's short. This study finds that adult language learners are more motivated and engaged than adolescent learners. So I'm just going to clear it and then circle it myself so everyone can see it easily. So this is the summary. Okay. Can everyone circle the assessment? Where is the assessment? Good. Excellent. Oh, there's a chat. The second sentence. Yes, correct. So here it's a little bit simpler because it's very short, but obviously you can get longer examples. So the assessment is the second sentence, which is right here. And how can you tell that it's the assessment? What does it point out? Yeah, so I would say kind of here, fails to take into account. So that's like a weakness of this. Obviously, you don't have to only point out weaknesses, you can point out strengths. Yeah, the word fails. It tells you that it's a weakness. And the last one, which sentence is, now I just, what's the word again? Sorry, I'm totally blanking. Reflection. Which sentence is a reflection? Yeah, the last sentence. Good. Yeah. So we can kind of, excellent. So yeah, the reflection is kind of this one here. Okay. It provides excellent ideas for engaging activities which can be used to spark further studies on student motivation. So it's talking about how this can be used in further research, in your research. How will you use this as part of your research? Okay. So I'm going to have you do an activity like this. I want you to circle all three sections. So you circle, where is it? Circle the summary, and maybe just write summary. Oops. Now I can't do the drawing tool. It's not wanting me to. And then you circle the assessment. Just write assessment beside it and circle the last one and write reflection beside it. Like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be pretty. The pen, if you go to the top, it says annotate. If you click on the button that says annotate, it then will open up a bar. Yeah, it might be under more options. But yeah, there's a little button that says annotate. For the next activity, you don't need it, but yeah, there's a bar that says annotate. So it's the one like that says participants, polls, new, well, I don't think it says polls for you, new share, pause share, annotate, remote control. I probably only have the remote control. You might have to click on more to find it. And then you might see it. It's hard for me to see from your perspective because I see more.
For me, it's under view options, so it might
View.
be there for you too.
Okay, so under view,
View
under
options and then annotate.
view options and then
Mhm.
annotate. Okay. So, I'm going to clear this all now. Oh, that didn't quite get it all clear. Okay, so I'm going to give you a link for Pear Deck. I have 2 activities today in Pear Deck. Please just do one of them. Oh, we're quite far behind. This takes a long time. So please just do one activity in Pear Deck. So if you look here, there's activity 2, and then there's also activity 3. So for now, we'll just do activity 2. Okay, so you can work individually by yourself. And I would like you to, in this one, circle the summary, circle the assessment, and circle the feedback and label it. So I will give you 5 minutes to do that. 5 minutes. Oh, don't annotate on my screen. Annotate on the Pear Deck for this activity. Now. So just do activity 2. So just circle the 3 parts. Okay, I don't want you guys to see everyone else's yet. So we'll give you 5 minutes. So it's 7:20. We'll give you until 7:25. Thank you.
Geico presents Monster Counseling.
Dracula, tell me how you're
YouTube.
feeling.
understands how lonely it is. No one will even let me into their house. I knock and I knock, but
Okay, 1 more minute to finish. Okay. So let's look at it. We won't look at everyone's. I'm having some issues scrolling down, but I don't know why. There we go. I have to just use this button. So let's read it. I'll just read through someone's example. So we have the citation at the top, and then we have through data analysis and questionnaires, Gru's study finds that plagiarism is mainly accidental. Researchers often plagiarize others' work without malicious intent. These findings exemplify previous articles that come to the same conclusion. Current students should remember this and so actively work to avoid plagiarism. Okay, so I would say this is actually not quite correct. I would say the summary, in my opinion, would include the second sentence as well. So this would be the summary. Researchers often plagiarize others' work without malicious intent. So that's summarizing the main idea of the research. So it's just expanding on the summary. And then the next sentence, these findings exemplify previous articles that come to the same conclusions. So that is the assessment. And then the last sentence, current students should remember this and so actively work to avoid plagiarism. So how can it be applied? The application. So that's the reflection. You have the 3 sections. Okay, so we have another activity in the Pear Deck. We have another activity in the Pear Deck, but we're kind of out of time. So you're free to do the other activity on your own for homework. We will also in the future come back to annotated bibliographies after we've looked more at citations, more at like analyzing and reflection and that type of thing. We'll look more at them and more at writing. But you can use this link if you would like to. So there's an article here. And if you'd like to click on the article for homework, I'm not marking it or anything like that, but if you would like to, you can, I'm going to clear all this. You can then write here. So some people, I think someone started it. So if you want, you can write an annotated bibliography entry. So remember, it needs a citation, summary, assessment, and reflection. But we're going to do that for homework because we are out of time. So you can do it for extra practice. And in the future, we will come back to not literature reviews, annotated bibliographies. Annotated bibliographies. Okay. We only have 1 hour, so it's not a lot of time to cover a topic. Okay. Okay, will you write an annotated bibliography, yes or no? So under participants, can you hit the yes button or the no button? I'm just curious, yes or no? Will you write one? Yes, a couple people are yes. Some are no. Of course. Yeah, so it's a good way, it's a good practice to think about your research material more in depth. So even if you don't have to, it's good habit. Okay, so I have about some yeses, a couple no's, but not very many. Okay. Why or why not? Does anyone want to say why or why not they will write one? Yes, I could write annotated bibliography when doing research because I need literature review and need to study previous research as a first step of doing research. It needs to simplify and so summarize literature I read, assess it, and reflect it to create my own new ideas to do research. Excellent. Very good. Yes, definitely. Okay. So now we'll do the show of fingers. So oh, and there's one more message first. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good like description. How well do you understand annotated bibliographies? Not at all. Oh, it is helpful in doing research. Good. Excellent. So how well do you understand annotated bibliographies? Not at all. A little bit more, somewhat, quite well, extremely well. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. How well? 4. Someone wrote a 4. 4. 4. Okay. Some people have their video off. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. If you keep your video off, you can type it in the box if you want. 4. Okay. Post-session feedback. So we're kind of at the end of things. So I will send out the course feedback. I have that. Where is it? Right here. Chat. What's someone saying? Oh, for. So I will also email out the feedback, but here's the link to the feedback if you want to fill it out now or later. You don't need to do it twice, just once. I will also include in that email an invitation to join the Google Classroom. So I post all of the slides and videos of the classes to the Google Classroom so you can practice or watch if you've missed any. Next week's topic is on evaluating sources, facts versus opinions. It's obviously a very important thing to be able to understand the difference of. And in the Google Classroom, there is a research writing syllabus. And these are the sources that we used, our resource list for this training. So thank you very much. I actually need to go plug in my computer, so give me 2 seconds. But if you have any questions, please just ask me.
Thank you, teacher.
Sorry, I'm sitting on a couch. Okay, any questions? I see 4 chats, just 1 second. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you next class. Definitely see you next class. Thank you. See you. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you. Okay, I think we'll end it there. I don't think there's any questions right now. So thank you very much and bye-bye.